Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to the latest episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
August the 24th, 2022. This will hit tomorrow morning, as always, Thursday morning, the 25th, for one last brief, shining moment.
We keep pushing it back and pushing it back.
And really, this one was a close call this week, but we're going to give baseball one final leadoff segment. They get segment one for arguably the last time this year. As next week we will have week 0 of NCAA football to talk about. We will have our week 1 picks and season predictions to go through. Just enough going on in baseball.
Just to keep it right above the waterline.
Yeah, a couple stupid, idiotic things.
Oh my God.
First and foremost, let us start off with that stupid, dumbass thing. The 2023 schedule came out, and for the first time ever, of course, we've only had wider interleague play recently, but now we're going all out.
This is bullshit.
All 30 teams in 2023 will play each other. Obviously, you can't play with yourself. I mean, you can't play yourself.
Right.
But this knocks the division games against your quote-unquote rivals.
Yeah, you're going
from a normal 19 games per season in 2023. This will go down to 13. So Cubs, Cardinals, only 13.
Yep, don't like it. You're taking the entire joy of the World Series out of it. The teams should not face each other anytime during the regular season. That's what the beauty of the AL versus the NL was all about. The All-Star game was more interesting because the guys hadn't seen each other. Interleague play is just making it
Baseball seems to be trying to do everything they can to homogenize and dull their property. Now with the DH in both the AL and the NL, now we're going to have everybody playing everybody else across. Even the NFL doesn't do that. You have one division that you play every year. You play your division teams, your rivals, 2 times.
Yeah.
Then you have an NFC, depending on where you are. I'm thinking like a Bears fan. So an NFC division you play and an AFC division you play. And then there's a couple rando games.
Yeah. What if you want to have this, you have your since there's so many more games, you still have your weighted in division. Then you play everybody else in your league twice. And if you want any interleague stuff, pick one division for each one to take on and rotate that like the NFL does.
I think that's what it used to be. And now
you never played an NL team before. Everybody in the NL played everybody in the NL at least as a home and home.
Right.
Which they should still have. And then now if you want to sway things a little bit, then you can throw in one of the other divisions.
When they introduced interleague is what I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah.
Then you would play one of the divisions. For the Cubs, it would be the AL. For the White Sox, it would be the NL.
Yeah.
Like the NFL model.
Yeah.
Now it's a free-for-all. You're playing everybody.
It's crap. Don't like it.
It dilutes the product. It really does. It takes away anything that made baseball special. And, of course, Rob Manfred doesn't care because he's an awful commissioner.
The worst.
Again, as bad as some of the stuff Roger Goodell has done, Rob Manfred is worse. Rob Manfred is much worse.
Yeah, he is killing the sport.
And I keep hearing people complaining about this fracturing of the TV coverage for a lot of these teams. They don't know where to find it. Of course, baseball skews older. I know they don't like it. They're trying to shift it younger. But right now, you got older fans, even older than you and I, clinging to the game, and you're trying to make it as difficult as possible for them
to
Apple,
catch their game.
Amazon,
Marquee.
Yep. Rob Manfred and MLB are doing their best to destroy the sport.
Yeah, they're not helping themselves at all. It's only getting worse. I don't know. 10 years before it's a non-entity.
I'm beginning to wonder if we're not going to have, and I'm not talking about soccer. No, I am not talking about soccer. I'm so tired of hearing
soccer's never.
Oh my God, the English League, Premier League, the first game got like 1 million viewers. Oh, I don't give a rat's ass about any of these soccer leagues.
Neither do I.
MSL. I mean,
There's
15 different acronyms out there for all the different soccer leagues that are out there, and it's still the most boring goddamn sport in the world.
Exactly.
I just want Rob Manfred to leave baseball alone.
There's things they need to do that they won't do, and they're too damn stupid to figure it out. They won't make the hard decisions.
No,
it's Band-Aids all over the place.
No, it's greed too. It's money, 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 money. Keep giving me money, 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 money. And what did you and I rail on during the holdout earlier in the year? We said, fine, money, 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 money. You want to find additional revenue streams, additional platforms to show your product? Make the fucking Pittsburgh Pirates,
Cincinnati
make the fucking Reds, make the Diamondbacks, the
Royals,
Rockies,
the A's.
Make them spend at least $100 million on their payroll to make the product more credible, since they're pocketing equal shares of all this media money. That's the move that will take balls that Rob Manfred obviously doesn't have.
That is the key that needs to be done.
Because, who's out of the playoffs already, Dave?
Everybody we just mentioned.
Once again, Sports Frenzy. Brilliant.
And a hard cap that you cannot go over at all.
Yeah, stop this luxury tax threshold garbage. You're going to end up looking like the NBA.
Yeah, that's absolutely
where the Golden State Warriors are like, what, $100 million over the quote-unquote cap threshold?
Yeah. Really? Really?
And Draymond Green wants his new deal.
Yeah.
So that'll put him over even more.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And speaking of people in baseball who spend stupid money, finally, all you Los Angeles Angels fans out there. Sorry, I almost said Los Angeles anus fans out there. That's kind of how they've been playing the last decade. It looks like owner Artie Moreno, who has had control of the team for 2 decades, is kind of, sort of, tentatively exploring the possibility of selling the team.
Yep. After discussions with the family, it's time to start looking to to divest the team from their portfolio.
Jeez. Talk about a team that has flushed bad money after bad money after bad money with all these contracts, from Albert Pujols to Rendon to Trout. How do you have Trout and Ohtani and not be able to at least be a 500 team?
Yeah, I mean, my God, you've had Trout since 2011. It's been that long. And you keep waiting for them to have that breakout season with him, and they have yet to do so.
And you know who I think of more and more every day as Trout gets older and older without any success? I think of Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. With that Seattle team.
Now, at least Ken Griffey Jr. was on that one Seattle team with Lou Piniella as the manager at least had one of the greatest regular seasons of all time.
What, 110 wins?
Oh, more than that. I think it was like 115 at least.
Yeah.
But
that was a hell of a team.
But of course, they got knocked out
in the playoffs.
Yeah, got knocked out right away in the playoffs. So some of the great, and that's what makes baseball extremely unique since it's so stat driven. Oh, by the way, have you looked at ESPN lately? Looking for baseball statistics?
No.
Don't. They have submitted to the analytics geeks full on.
Oh,
you cannot
no.
just get somebody's batting average, season home run total, No, now it's splits. It's all splits.
God, nobody gives a shit about all the splits.
All I did today, I wanted to look up Chris Bryant's stats for this year and laugh. Because again, I was proven right. I said Bryant gone, yes. Baez gone, yes. Should have kept Schwarber, should have kept Rizzo. And I have been proven right.
It up.
So all I want to do is laugh at Bryant's stats for this year. And of course, he's hurt again now.
Again.
But no, I don't get straight. He's hit this many home runs, this many RBIs, this batting average. I get his splits, home versus the AL, because they're playing an interleague series right now with the Rangers.
We don't give a rat's ass about all that. We want the hard numbers.
Well, they had a headline today on ESPN's stupid website about, I think Nelson Cruz, maybe it was, of the Nationals, set a record for exit velocity.
No, it was, hang on.
Wrong Cruz? I have the wrong Cruz.
You do.
Okay.
It was Pittsburgh Pirates rookie O'Neal Cruz.
Okay.
122.4 miles an hour off the barrel of the bat.
But again, what does it matter? What does it matter?
Because the stat geeks cream their shorts over stuff like this. They're ruining the game of baseball.
Boy, if this ever happens to football,
people
will revolt because they actually care about football. So, of course, going back to the Angels sale here to wrap that up, it's going to be interesting to see how this impacts the future of Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, because which players are they going to try and move? Which salaries are they going to try and dump to make it more attractive for a new owner coming in?
It's very, very eerily similar to what we just went through a month ago with Juan Soto and the Washington Nationals.
Yep, as
they're up for sale. They didn't know what to do. They didn't want to overspend to keep him, thinking that could taint the sale.
Right.
So they decided, nope, trade him for assets so the new owner can do what he or she wants, start from scratch.
If you want to bring him back, you'll have the opportunity.
I've got to believe, given the huge Pacific Rim audience for baseball on the West Coast.
Oh, man, you're going to have an overseas investor buy it.
Well, if they do, then they keep him.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if they decide to let him go, he's going to end up Seattle, San Francisco, San Diego, or LA. Although I don't know how LA or the Dodgers or the Padres could put him on their payroll right now.
No, they couldn't.
So, interesting food for thought. Again, as we wind down our interest in baseball, giving it one last gasp. Wait, we're still here. I know it's September and you don't care anymore, but we're still here.
Yep.
Where are the paddles? Where's the defibrillator?
Hey.
Well, especially if we end up getting a Subway Series, World Series, nobody is going to watch it. It's what happened the last time. That's what happened the last time.
So, hey, at least Mr. Tatis addressed his teammates, begging their forgiveness, and as he said, there was a lot of tough love in the room.
Whatever.
And now he'll undergo shoulder surgery to finally maybe keep that shoulder from popping out all the time. which he should have done in the offseason instead of riding the damn motorcycle.
Yeah.
Idiot.
He's lucky that he gets to do that, and it does still count against his suspension.
Yeah. Yep.
Because technically, if I was a commissioner, I would be nope.
No.
These games, these 80 games you're suspended for, you have to be healthy and available for.
Right. Not just sitting out.
Because I decided to get the work done anyway.
Well, he's having it done in the off season and should be ready for spring training.
No. I don't think he's eligible till May. He can play. I think he can play spring training, but
he can go through with the team, but he's not available to play
in the regular season until May.
I don't like it. Yeah. It's got to be.
No, because 80 games carries him through the rest of this entire season.
It should
and
not
at
count.
Least the first month of next season. But again, he gets to have the surgery, like you said, that he's really needed, and it counts as part of his suspension.
Stupid.
Let's give credit to the defending World Series champion Atlanta Brave fans for booing the hell out of their own player, Marcell Ozuna, this dirtbag.
Arrested for a DUI.
And he comes back, home game, first game after the DUI, and the Atlanta fans, his own fans, boo him mercilessly.
As they should.
And the guy just, within the last year or two, had a domestic violence issue.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
He is, as we would say in football, a thug.
He's like a Greg Hardy. He's one of those type,
Yeah. He's not a good person.
An Antonio Brown, a Terrell Owens.
Yep. You see the pattern develop at some point. You got to decide when to cut bait.
Yeah, and Atlanta's got so many good young players. They don't need him. They can spend that money elsewhere if they can cut bait on him.
Guaranteed money, the bane of baseball.
Who would have thought that the player of the last few weeks here in the dog days of August 2022 would be the old man, Albert Pujols?
Man, this guy is
on a tear here the last couple of weeks.
On his retirement journey.
Even though he's not getting the
swan song.
He's not getting the big tour.
No, he's not doing the big send-off, look at me
Big
thing.
Poppy did. I can't stand David Ortiz.
Overrated. But
Pujols, though, starting to tear it up, and now what looked like an unattainable goal a few months ago.
He
693 home runs currently.
He's got time to hit 700, kids.
He's fifth on the all-time list right now. He's 3 behind Alex Rodriguez, 4 to pass, and like Dave said, within reach of 700, putting him in rarefied air.
Yeah.
With Bonds, Babe Ruth, and Hank Aaron.
That's an impressive feat. And he's playing like a kid again these final months here, where he's like, it's it. What do I have to lose? I'm just going to swing. Why not?
Yep.
The pressure's not on me.
And we can break down the last decade where he has not played well. And we just talked about the Angels. And, of course, the Angels overpaid, knowing full well that they weren't going to get full value from Pujols over half of that deal. And they didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
So, in a way, in a small, tiny way, Pujols is a little bit of a compiler here, where he's been able to stay healthy and last into his 40s and still have some semblance of a bat. But at the same time, you gotta
Well, you got to look at Miguel Cabrera right now too for
Right.
Detroit.
Right.
He's still got 2 years left on that deal, and he can barely walk.
Right. Right.
And he trots out there still.
Right. Yeah, and Detroit's hosed on that one.
Yeah.
At least Pujols got through the Angels deal, played at the end of that after the trade with the Dodgers. Now he's back home with the Cardinals, looking like a solid bench player.
Yeah.
You know, at least he's okay with his role now.
Yeah,
So,
he's settled into that, and he's a viable option off the bench. Cabrera's more of a detriment to the Tigers right now.
well, look, one's in first place, one's in last place.
Yep. There you go.
Walker Buehler, my pick for the Cy Young this year.
Buehler.
Boy, how'd that turn out for you, Kev? God, if it comes down to a tiebreaker, Jesus, for our Field of Frenzy picks. And I had Walker Buehler as my Cy Young.
Buehler.
The young stud pitcher for the Dodgers had to undergo his second Tommy John surgery, first one back in 2015. Now he will be out not only the rest of this year, not only next year, but hopefully be ready for 2024.
That sucks. One is bad enough, but going through it twice, man, it's a lot of rehab. And can he go through it again? Is he going to find it worthwhile?
We shall see. We shall see. The Dodgers don't seem to be any worse for wear. They somehow just keep, finding pieces in their farm system or guys that they've cultivated that they plug into that rotation that seem to just step up. I mean, right now your Cy Young leader in the National League is Tony Gonsolin.
Who?
Tony Gonsolin. 16-1.
Good
with
Lord.
The Dodgers. Tied with Verlander, the Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
On the other side in the American League with 16 wins. Who got pulled, by the way.
Flirting
6-inning no-hitter, and Dusty said, nope, we're done.
We're saving your arm for the playoffs.
Yeah, you're at 90 pitches. You're done.
Coming off of Tommy John, you want to make sure he's going to be all right.
I can't. Normally, I would be on my soapbox about that, railing on it. If Verlander was okay with it, then I'd say fine. That's cool. Save him for the playoffs. Don't blow that arm out. Ask New York Met fans about Johan Santana.
Yeah.
And they had him going, 130, 135 pitches just to try to get a no-hitter. And then the guy was never the same again.
There is a point where you just have to cut it. 110.
If he's at 90 pitches, 6 innings in, he's not going to pitch a complete game anyway.
He's not going to get there.
No. So if you want to pull him at 90, pull him at 90.
Yeah. No. Now, if it was 90 after 8,
yes,
then you let him go.
Right.
You let him run up to the 110, 120 mark.
Right. But with 90 after 6,
no, you don't.
That would take 130, 140 pitches.
You don't do that.
Yep. All right. As we wrap up baseball, time, unfortunately, to look at our teams. Cubs, I don't have any real news to report for them. They're 53-70, 18 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals in third place in the NL Central.
Yep.
To potentially, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Cubs are going to lose 100, but you could potentially have 3 100-game losing teams in that division if the Cubs fell apart here.
They've actually had a decent little run of late.
Yeah, injuries are starting to creep up and bite them.
So you never know. Yep, and the Sox continue to suck. 62-61, 4.5 now behind the Guardians in third. Still, they're so damn mediocre They don't hustle in the base paths. They don't play well defensively all the time. They can't hit for anything with runners in scoring position. It's pathetic. They're as sleepy as their manager is in the dugout.
Well, I know I mentioned with the Cubs. Cubs have had a couple injuries here this past week.
Sox have been hit by injuries a lot this year, but that only goes so far because they are not doing all the little things that it takes to win a game, and that falls on the manager.
And I know how you feel about him, and I know you're not happy with him, but I will actually say, I got to say the injuries are a big part of why the White Sox are having issues, because now you've already got Anderson out for pretty much most of the regular season. Now you got Grandal on the IL again. What now? Kopech
strained knee.
His start in the first inning with the knee, and he's on the IL. So, I mean, you guys are taking some big hits with the injuries.
But at the same time, there's a lot that they could have been doing to have built up a lead to weather some of this stuff at the same time. They've been competitive in most of the games they've lost, but it's the little things that they're not doing, that they're not being managed to do, that's costing them. And you see it in the play where they're just lackadaisical. They're just trotting to first instead of hustling it out. They're just taking first instead of trying to push the envelope to hustle into second base to get the double and force the defense to make the play. Teams are doing that stuff to them, and that's a lot of where their losses are coming into play. They're getting out-hustled.
Yeah, they're making me look bad. I've been insisting this entire season that they were going to make a run because I still think that division is winnable by anybody in the top three. Obviously, the Royals and the Tigers are far, far out of it, but the Twins could get hot. The Guardians obviously on top right now, but with that small payroll, you wonder how much magic Terry Francona can
He knows
pull
how
out
to
of his
manage
hat.
right now. The game is far past La Russa by, and you're seeing him get out-managed night after night.
I see, again, I've been suckered in because I was going by pure talent, and I thought the White Sox out of those three teams had by far the most talent. Again, I think injuries are a factor.
They are, but you don't have a manager who's putting the guys in a position to play. How many times has he changed that damn lineup? Putting guys batting in different places, up and down the order. Nobody can get into a consistent routine.
And I know we mentioned this probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We knew it was coming. But now I think it's more adamant than ever. They have got to find a way to win the division. They're not getting a wild card.
Oh, no. They're not making the playoffs. I looked
at the standings today. They would have to leapfrog not only the Twins, but the Orioles just to get in competition for the third playoff spot.
Yeah, they're not
the third wild card spot, because right now the Blue Jays, the Rays, and Seattle are pulling away in those three wild card slots.
Yeah. No, they're not
better off.
They're
anything. Closer.
They're closer
to
for
being
the
able.
division.
Yeah.
But they would be one and done.
I think anybody coming out, honestly, out of the AL Central is going to be one and done.
More than likely.
But again, the Yankees are struggling right now. The Rays get hot now. The Jays fall off. The Seattle Mariners are okay. I don't know. Outside of the Astros, I don't know who I trust in the American League right now.
Yeah, there's no clear cut right now. The Astros have been the most consistent the entire year.
Aaron Boone gets mad and pounds a table. Oh, they won 3 in a row after that. The Yankees are back.
We'll
screw
see.
That.
We will see.
All right, kids. That's it for baseball. That's it for segment 1 here on Sports Frenzy 2.0. Next up, our fantasy football preview, including our overview, our recap of our draft from just a few nights ago. Stay tuned for that. That will be fun. Well, Not for
really.
me. We'll be right back.
This episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0 is brought to you by the Bills Mafia Marital Aid Company, because when you are down and out, we'll bring you back up and in the game. Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher. All right, kids, football time with Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Along with the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
And here we are recording August 24th, 2022. This will drop Thursday, the 25th on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! As we alluded to earlier, fantasy football time is here. We just had our draft. We'll kind of give a recap. We'll touch on some NFL news, some college football news. Getting you ready for the season opener.
Yeah, so you kids can pretty much take this as your fantasy football preview segment of Sports Frenzy 2.0 as we go through our draft results, talk about our successes and our failures, learn from our mistakes, learn from our wins, see how you do in your leagues. We always have fun doing this. We've been doing this now for pretty much almost a decade now, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've been there at that point. So
do not ridicule us because we only have an 8-team league. We have had this core 8 for Sports Frenzy for a long, long time. Couple people have shuffled in and out, but for the most part, this has been a very solid group. So it's 8. I know a lot of people say it's
so easy.
It's a pussy league. It's a pussy league if it's not 10 or 12, but trust me, we're very competitive.
We have enough issues getting these 8 together, let alone going any bigger. And with everything else we do, we can't expand. It would be feasibility with the group we have. It's tough enough.
Yeah, and our franchise to the west, Sports Frenzy West, with the Big Blue W, who participates in ours in what we call Sports Frenzy East, and he runs the West. He has got a lot more people to deal with than I do, but at the same time,
they're all retired. They have nothing else to do,
and they all live in the same community. So
they get into the community center and they do it. It's easy for them.
Yeah, if he needs picks, he walks 3 doors down, knocks on the door, says, "Where are your picks?" I got to email people, text people. Everybody's got kids. Everybody's got lives. Everybody's got jobs. So, all right. We will run through our first round completely to let you know who we had as the top 8 picks to go. First up was the juggler, Nick. Somehow gets the first pick. Now, we do the serpentine thing, so you get the first pick, that's fine, but you don't get to pick again till the end of the second round, as you guys all know. So it came down to me and Nick in terms of
first pick, 8th pick.
Yeah, the last selection to decide where you wanted to draft came down to me. I could have had the first pick or the 8th pick. I decided, luckily, I think it worked out for me. Now, later on, everything went to shit. But I got one of my top 3 picks back at number 8. So I was happy with taking, at that point, taking the 8th pick. So Nick, the juggler, got number 1. Of course, the consensus number 1 pick went Jonathan Taylor. Now, keep this in mind, too. Again, like Dave said, Dave pointed out a very salient point. This year was really hard with just 8 people because 2 people
weren't able to make the draft.
Now, at least the elder statesman left detailed notes
on
what he wanted in every round. So it was a lot easier to draft for him.
For the first half, he listed the players he wanted if they were going to be there, or he said next available at whatever position.
Right.
That he wanted.
Now, Nick gave us nothing. We got nothing from Nick.
0.
He bailed within the last week before the actual draft date, saying he got stuck with something for work, but he said he was going to send instructions to Doug or Aaron, and neither one of them got anything. So we had to,
by consensus, a generous consensus, that we would fill in with best available.
Now, the only penalty he really got was we decided, since he gave us nothing to work with, that we would fill out his entire roster first, which meant he was going to, at the end, rounds 8, rounds 9, have to have a kicker and a defense. Whereas, as you know, sound strategy normally dictates you kind of wait till the end for especially your kicker, most likely your defense. So he got penalized in that respect, but still came out looking great.
With a pretty decent roster.
That's the kind of great people we are, that we actually didn't screw him. So he got Jonathan Taylor from the Colts, running back, number 1. Doug drafting number 2. Now, Yahoo, we use Yahoo. Yahoo gave out their grades as we posted our picks yesterday. Doug got the worst grade. Yeah. He was in the number 2 slot here. Yahoo gave him a C- for his draft. Now, I don't know if this pick had anything to do with that, but people still trust Christian McCaffrey. I do not.
China Doll, as we have called him week in and week out over the NFL season last year.
Yeah, I don't know. If he dropped to me at 8, I might have taken him back there, but I would never have taken him at number 2. No. Never.
No, but Doug took him, has faith in him. We'll see. At picking 3rd, I went with Mr. Cooper Kupp, who should have been last year's MVP. So,
and I like that pick. That was
solid receiver, high volume.
That was my number 2 overall pick. Taylor 1. I had Kupp 2. So I like Dave's first pick very much.
I went Taylor Kupp as my first 2 choices.
Yep. Now Sam picking 4th was the other one who wasn't there, although he ducked in conveniently right before the draft, went to go see a movie, because that's why he couldn't go, is because he bought non-refundable movie tickets, had a senior moment.
Yep, forgot the night because he was taking my boys to a movie. My father-in-law took the grandkids.
So he shows up right before the draft, shows up after the draft ends, very conveniently.
But at least he put the effort.
Again, yeah, he put in a lot of effort to set up who he wanted, when he wanted them. I give him credit for that. He took Jamar Chase. Not a bad pick. I had him last year, but I actually, early on, I got lucky. I drafted Jamar Chase, didn't like how he was playing the first couple of weeks, dumped him, and then went back out and got him a couple of weeks later.
When he started picking it up.
And luckily, none of you guys grabbed him, so he was good for me. He ended up being my wide receiver 1, but with the way they spread the ball around with Cincinnati, when they've got really 3 top-tier receivers.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, Mrs. C, her first round pick, Austin Eckler, Chargers running back. Solid pick.
I have a thing for Austin Eckler. I really do. There are players, and you'll probably attest to this as well, as we'll talk about your quarterback pick here in a little bit. But there are certain players that you, whether it's in a particular year or just in general, gravitate to. And I always have liked Austin Eckler a lot. I would have loved to have seen him drop to me at 8. Thought there was a chance, maybe, possibly, because he catches the ball.
Yeah.
Little tiny bit of an injury concern, but compared to some of these other guys,
not bad. He was one that I was hoping might have dropped a little bit, but
he never would have made it back to you in the second round.
Probably
no way.
Not.
No way. Aaron at 6, the Big Easy. Of course, Jen's defending champion.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Aaron, runner-up. He's drafting 6th. He picked Derrick Henry. Of course, easy pick there, if you ask me. Stud running back.
Yep.
4th one off the board. I would have taken him ahead of McCaffrey.
Hands down.
Doesn't catch the ball a ton, but he runs for 150 yards a game, it seems like, and a touchdown at least every week.
Solid points guy. Number 7, the Big Blue W, Bill, takes the first quarterback off the board, Buffalo's Josh Allen. Kind of a surprise in the first round.
Not a surprise that he was the first quarterback taken, but again, we see this in our league every year. Those of you out there who play a ton of fantasy football know quarterbacks tend to be, I don't want to say undervalued or devalued, but they all tend to put up a lot of points. So there's not a huge gap between the number 1 and the number 5 or number 6.
Right.
They're all putting up 20, 25 points a game, where it's a lot more important to get that stud running back or that stud wide receiver. So Bill took the best quarterback arguably out there, but maybe a little early. Maybe. And as I mentioned, get to me, the last pick of the first round, I got my guy who I had ranked number 3 overall at number 8. So I was ecstatic. Again, it fell apart later for me. It ended up being the worst draft I've ever had, but not here, because I got Justin Jefferson, Minnesota wide receiver, who I had as the 3rd best player on my board.
That was my 3rd player as well.
So I was extremely happy to get him. And again, the next couple rounds went well for me. And then after that, it fell apart. I ended up taking a lot of questionable. Second running back questionable. Second wide receiver questionable. Bench is okay. I'm good at quarterback. I've got Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. Good at defense with San Francisco. Fine with kicker Daniel Carlson. But again, after my first running back, Najee Harris, my first wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, that's when it all went to shit for me. Fifth round is what killed me. Starting with my buddy, my brother from another mother. As the 5th round came back to me, I needed that second running back. I was dying for that second quality running back. And there was still a lot on the board, but
I took my second running back, Cam Akers. I picked up DeAndre Swift the round before. So I've got those as my 1 and 2. Did get quarterback. I went Derek Carr because I picked up Devontae Adams as my second wide receiver. So I wanted that quarterback receiver combo.
Some would say that was your risky pick, that you took Derek Carr that early.
It was, but we'll see.
You took him as the 3rd quarterback off the board.
I did. That was my stretch right there. We'll see if it comes back to bite me.
Everybody has got the guys that they like. So what I was saying about the 5th round that killed me was, okay, Dave takes Cam Akers, who I really wanted badly. Good pick for Dave, but I've still got options out there. But then after Sam takes Carolina wide receiver DJ Moore, I'm like, okay, I got 3 solid options out there. All I need out of the next
just
3 picks,
one of them.
The next 3 picks, one of these guys needs to go somewhere else outside of running back, and I'll be good. No, of course not. Because then Jen goes Aaron Jones from Green Bay. Aaron goes Saquon Barkley from the Giants. And Bill kills me, puts the dagger in my heart, takes James Conner from the Arizona Cardinals, and now I am fucked. Because now all the top-level wide receivers are gone, all the top-level running backs are gone, and I need one of each.
Yep.
And then I took Jalen Waddle and J.K. Dobbins.
And it was just a spiral out of control.
Yeah, after that, I'm just not happy with the rest of my draft at all. So, again, as we mentioned, there are certain guys that you target, certain guys that you like, certain guys you stay away from. Dave and I were talking off mic about DK Metcalf, lasted until the 10th round.
Yeah, he's got no quarterback to throw him the ball.
I could have taken him. I decided instead to go with, like I said, Waddle, Marquise Brown, I'm on Ross St. Brown because I don't trust Geno Smith or Drew Lock to get DK Metcalf the ball. So that's one of the guys I had targeted as stay away from if you can.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about A.J. Brown, who went in round 7 to Sam. Great fit in the system when he was with Tennessee, but I don't know what to expect out of this Eagles offense.
They've got a lot to prove this year after falling apart last year.
Bill had a very interesting draft in that later on he took both Denver starting wide receivers, Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, and took Russell Wilson as his backup quarterback.
Yeah, very
to Josh
interesting.
Allen. Yeah, so he is loaded with Denver players. Outside of that, Jen made a really nice pick in round 9, but it turned out to be a nice pick because of news that came down yesterday.
Yes.
The day after we drafted. If I'd known this, I would have put Josh Jacobs up a lot higher. They're going to cut Kenyon Drake. So that means there is no competition.
No competition. Josh Jacobs is going to be easily a 3-down back.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole reason why I stayed away from him was because Kenyon Drake was projected to be the 3rd down back.
Yeah.
Lots of speculation about why they played Josh Jacobs so much in the first preseason game, shopping him possibly for a trade. Maybe Josh McDaniel didn't like him that much. Now it looks like the exact opposite. Josh Jacobs, in my opinion, after hearing this news, could end up being a top 10 running back. And it kills me because he lasted all the way to the 9th round.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I didn't go for that reason, too. That's where I took Edwards-Helaire in round 9, 2 picks before.
Yeah, some of the guys.
You never know.
Here's some names of the guys that went before Josh Jacobs. Breece Hall, rookie running back for the Jets. I'm still not convinced. They've still got Michael Carter, a young guy, only in his 2nd year. Travis Etienne at Jacksonville. Could be okay for a while until Robinson comes back.
We'll see.
Elijah Mitchell. I like him. I had him last year, but again, I don't know. The split's going to be because the 49ers draft running backs every year. Remember last year, Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
I think Aaron pounced on him thinking he was going to be the next.
And wound up nothing.
And then they drafted another one this year. So this is the fun.
At
the same time, the stress, the chaos that you get with drafting fantasy football. So hope you have fun this year in your drafts like we did.
Always a good time.
Of course, outside of Doug, as we mentioned, having the worst ranked draft by Yahoo, Dave and I were 6th and 7th. So there you go.
It doesn't really freaking matter. So we all make moves anyway. So none of these rosters are going to look the same. Yep. Injuries will pop up.
Yep.
We'll adjust and adapt as needed.
Yeah, as always.
So,
all right, little bit of NFL news, and then I will let Dave jump in with the NCAA football news of the week. Next week, of course, we will have NCAA Week 1 picks.
Yep.
NCAA Week 0 starts this coming Saturday, but really not a lot going on. No. I am intrigued by the Nebraska Northwestern game in Ireland. That could be.
Yeah, we'll see.
But then next Saturday is when everything really gets going.
It's going to ramp up, and oh, baby, look out.
Of course, the Bears, 2-0 in the preseason, here going into the last weekend of preseason football. So, of course, we're wrong, Dave. They're going to be world beaters. They're going to the Super Bowl.
It's preseason. It doesn't mean jack crap.
We, of course, last week, as we taped a little bit later than normal, were watching the Bears-Seattle game as we were giving you this fine, wonderful sports podcast. And Trevor Siemian looks good as a backup, and that's about all I can say.
Yeah.
Of course, Amazon, we talked about it with baseball, all the new platforms where baseball has got Apple and Amazon and all the regional sports networks. Yeah. Amazon, of course, taking over Thursday Night Football. Luckily for the sports bars around the country, the hotels, the places where people congregate that would normally be watching football on Thursday night. Amazon reached a deal in conjunction with DirecTV, so
Whoever's got DirecTV,
everybody should be prepared in terms of bars, hotel bars, BW3s, wherever you
go
congregate. They should be able to carry Thursday Night Football on Amazon. So good news there. Finally, bad news for Panthers rookie QB Matt Corral, who had just come off an injury at the end of his last year with Mississippi before he entered the draft, was thought to be a top-tier prospect. The injury at Mississippi knocked him down.
Back.
The Panthers grab him, thinking they can develop him behind Mayfield, behind Darnold. And, of course, what happens? Lisfranc, tear in his foot, done for the year.
Ouch.
This kid's going to be one of those snake-bitten guys, talented, but he can't stay healthy.
Yeah. You feel for him at that point. It hurts. And then Colts punter, Mr. Sanchez, tears his Achilles while running wind sprints for the team, so he's done for the year. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Of course, we do have to address the rumors of Tom Brady finally back in camp this past Monday after an extended absence. A lot of people saying because of the deal he signed with Fox.
He was on The Masked Singer.
Because now Fox owns him.
Yeah.
Since they gave him all that money starting next year. I doubt it, but I'm not saying 100% no.
He says no on his podcast, but he would have to say that because of the whole secrecy thing.
Yeah, I'm saying I doubt this is what he was doing, but I'm not saying it 100%.
Right.
And then, of course, he is going to be running for his life if he can run at 45.
Yeah.
Because
that line is devastated.
Yeah, the latest injury, Aaron Stinney fighting for a starting position at guard, ACL, MCL, he's done for the year. This is not a strong spot for the Buccaneers.
No.
This offensive line is being put together with toilet paper and chewing gum and
maybe a paper clip.
And you have got an older
vulnerable.
Vulnerable is a good word. I don't want to say fragile. Vulnerable is a good word. So I don't know how this is going to set up for the Buccaneers.
Yep, it's going to be interesting.
Luckily, they're in a weak division.
Yeah. And then last week, we talked about the Talib brothers and that horrible incident at a kids' peewee football game. Aqib has taken himself out of being a commentator.
Oh, thank God! There is mercy! The football broadcasting guys said to the maestro, "We will throw you a bone."
Yep, he removed himself from the broadcast.
And hundreds of thousands of football fans across the nation
sing hallelujah.
We don't have to listen to the stupid thug who can barely put two sentences together. Shame that it had to happen this way, and It couldn't just be actual talent evaluators at the network going, "You suck, get out of here."
Yeah. So there we go on that front. NCAA, college. The problem with college football rears its ugly head once again as big money gets stupidly doled out to a head coach. Nick Saban was just given a new 8-year deal, $93.6 million, $11.7 million a year.
Because he had to beat Kirby Smart.
Yeah, who signed his deal worth $11.25 with Georgia. Again, the stupid money for coaches in college. Driving everything, ruining it. We talk about it. the stupid money breeds stupidity throughout the leagues. It's horrible. Speaking of stupidity, what the hell is Fox thinking for their college football analyst bringing Urban Meyer back on the air? How are you bringing this scumbag back after all the crap that came out that he did and said when he was in Jacksonville?
There needed to be a little bit of a respite. There needed to be a year off before we start thinking about bringing him back.
You needed at least a year. There's no reason right out of the gate to have this asshat back on TV. He is a despicable human being.
And the thing is, I don't watch a lot of the pregame stuff. You know, you get to the game a little early, you sit down. Okay, I'm 10 minutes early before kickoff. I'll flip on the pregame
stuff. He's got a lot of balls to even
He's
want
not even
to be
that
on there.
Good.
No, he sucks. He's awful speaking on camera.
I don't know if I want to make this a broad generalization. You know, not a generalization about broads, but the ex-players, again, not Aqib Talib.
No.
But the especially like the ex-quarterbacks, seem to do a better job of breaking down the game. Kind of like how in baseball, the best managers are catchers.
Because they have to see the entire field. They have to do the defensive lineups for the infield, knowing all the batters' tendencies, what pitch they're going to call at what particular time.
Yep. Coaches don't seem to have the personality necessary. Quarterbacks are natural-born leaders. I hate to say it.
Yeah, they are.
With rare exceptions. Daniel Jones in New York. Good Lord, that guy is like...
Johnny Manziel.
Well, the other way with Johnny Manziel. Daniel Jones is just a piece of driftwood as a personality. Johnny Manziel went too far the other way.
He was just an asshole.
He was an arrogant prick, yeah. But the coaches... I mean, can you honestly think of Bill Belichick in the booth?
No. I mean, Jimmy Johnson's the rarity.
He was good.
But Wannstedt, when he does the TV stuff, is okay. He's better on radio. He's fun.
But again, I still think you get the quarterbacks.
The quarterbacks
involved. They're the best
tend
ones.
To be the better. Some of the position players, we're seeing Greg Olson as a tight end really jumping out. So you never know.
All right, real quick here. Shifting gears, covering one topic in another sport, the NBA, here for the last couple of minutes of segment 2. One big news item this week. Kevin Durant decided, I'm going to stay with the Nets. The arrogance of the NBA player never ceases to amaze me. Now what do you do?
Want you?
Now what do you do after you told the owner, I don't want the coach, I don't want the GM, trade me. Nobody wanted you because you've become a pain in the ass.
And now you got to come crawling back with your tail between your legs.
How is Steve Nash going to be expected to coach this guy?
You can't.
How is Sean Marks going to be expected? He's at least insulated as a GM. He's a little bit
Nash
removed.
Is hosed, having to deal with him on a daily basis.
Steve Nash, if they start out slow coming out of the gates, he's going to be fired. And then Kevin Durant's going to go,
I told you.
I win.
And then he's going to destroy another coach.
And the sad thing is, he is just starting his 4-year extension. Just starting it.
Yeah.
And he's already in his mid-30s. I just don't get this. I can't fathom this. How the NBA lets, yes, I'm going to say it, I don't give a rat's ass what the PC police say. The inmates are running the asylum in the NBA. The inmates are running the goddamn asylum. And they are crazy. They are nutsy cuckoo.
Yes, they are. It takes a special kind of special in there. All right.
That'll wrap it up for segment 2.
3 coming up.
NASCAR, final regular season race of 2022 before the playoffs.
Yep, we'll preview that. And we've got some golf news coming up. So
it seems like every week we got golf news.
It golf just gets better and better and better. It's like the WWE.
I know, it's drama. It's just drama.
All right. Stay tuned.
Are you having trouble falling asleep behind the wheel of your expensive SUV? Are you finding difficulty in avoiding golf clubs thrown at you by your angry wife as you pull out of the driveway? Sign up today for the Tiger Woods Driving School, sponsored by Sports Frenzy 2.0. We'll show you how to text ladies of the night while still driving effectively in the wee hours of the morning. We'll also teach you how to ditch a suspicious backpack when you end up driving into a ditch. Check out Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, for updates on our latest classes, including how to curse and swear in front of uptight golf fans and their children and still be adored by millions. The Tiger Woods Driving School. It's great. Final segment here, Sports Frenzy 2.0, August the 24th, 2022. I am the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I am the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Just because we're wrapping up the sports episode of the week does not mean we are done. Check out Saturday mornings, weekend edition, where Dave and I review the best of pop culture, music, movies, TV and streaming, books. We have dumbasses on that one, just like we're going to have here in a few minutes.
That's right.
Check it out. Check out the Facebook page.
Wake up, nurse your hangover as we tell you what to do for the weekend.
This weekend edition, we'll have a review of The Lost City. Yes.
Yep.
We got sucked into that because we were trying to score brownie points for Mrs. C for Dave.
Yep.
We also have a review of the brand new Jackal, mostly live album, 30 coming in hot.
Yep, 3 new tracks on that one.
So be sure to check out Dave and I on the weekend edition. But we still got sports news to discuss.
That's right.
First and foremost, our recap of race 25 of the NASCAR Cup regular season puts us at Watkins Glen.
Damn you, Martin Truex.
Yeah, Dave is having some issues along with Bill and Doug in terms of this is turning out to be a really bad year for our Sports Frenzy NASCAR competition. Where Sam's already quit. Bill and Doug and Dave are not in the playoffs right now with only one race to go. So this could be a really hairy situation coming up for the last.
Yeah, Daytona is stressful enough, but to throw this in.
Dave needs 3 points as of right now. Now that could shift and change depending on the 10th place number. Dave is 3 out right now. Bill 15 points out. Doug 16 points out. If Doug hadn't changed his pick
at the last minute, what did we talk about last week? When he did that, we said it's going to come back and bite him in the ass.
And it sure as hell did. He would be right with Dave. Maybe a point or 2 out.
Yep.
All 3 still within striking distance, depending on how Daytona shakes out. But first, as I mentioned, Watkins Glen. Chase Elliott got the pole. Chase Elliott pretty much dominated the race until we started to get cautions at the end.
Late cautions.
And, of course, the last restart burned him. He got no dirty racing, in my opinion, involved. He just didn't get a good enough start, got nudged out of the way by Kyle Larson.
Yep. Larson got position on him, and that was all she wrote.
Yep, so Kyle Larson gets his second win of the season. Now, Chase Elliott finished 4th, so he did clinch the regular season championship.
Which doesn't mean jack shit anymore.
Well, I think you get like $1 million for
that. It is. They tried to make it interesting, but...
Yeah, you get money in
the bank.
Now, the cool thing about Watkins Glen that they kind of hammered in over and over and over again during the telecast, which of course was delayed because of lightning. And I still don't know why we're putting rain tires on these cars to run road courses.
If they're not going to run in the rain.
They had to wait till it was a little bit of a sprinkle. There's standing water off the track.
Who cares? Deal with it.
They didn't want a replay of the disaster that was Coda last year. But then why even bother? You should have. I initially thought you should have just delayed the damn race till Monday.
Yep, if you're that worried about the water.
You put the wipers on the car, you put the rain tires on the cars for the road courses, and then you're not going to use them.
Sack up and make them run. Formula One runs in the rain. My God, through the downpours. Same if you wind up with any of the endurance races, any of the 12-hour or 24-hour races. They go through all of it. Sack it up, NASCAR.
I thought this was the whole reason why they did this a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Stupid. Unbelievably stupid. So, of course, the start was delayed.
I'll give them the lightning strike, but not the standing water.
Right. Well, lightning strike, you got to get people out of the stands.
Yeah.
But I was surprised nobody on the broadcast, I didn't hear anybody mention anything about no lights at Watkins Glen. Are we going to be able to get this race in? Because it didn't end until about 7:15, 7:20 Sunday.
Still bright. We're not there yet. Not yet.
Couple more cautions, though. Who
it could have possibly pushed
it to
the
7:30, 7:45.
Then maybe you start to have some issues.
Now, the cool thing I was mentioning was Watkins Glen was the first time ever, the 2022 Watkins Glen race, a record 7 different countries represented in the field.
That's pretty cool.
So we're getting a very international feel, especially with the road courses. Of course, we've always talked about ringers on the road courses, and a lot of those guys come in from overseas, F1. So, but for the first time ever, 7 different countries represented in the field.
Very cool. Some of the other news coming out. Last week, we talked about Ryan Blaney getting his extension with Penske. This week, it's Joey Logano gets a deal, an extension. So Penske's set right now, doesn't have to worry about contracts with Cindric, Blaney, and Logano solidly in the fold right now.
Interesting sponsorship deal that NASCAR entered into the other day. I don't know how you're going to feel about this.
Kotex?
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, Dave. Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh, wait. It's going to involve college sports, so no, keep your mind in the gutter. NASCAR is actually going to pay the University of Alabama to sponsor Crimson Tide Athletics. Once again, NASCAR is paying Alabama, not the other way around, to be a sponsor of Crimson Tide Athletics.
Oh, God help us.
I don't know what to make of this.
It's bizarre. It's ridiculous. Why are you picking Alabama? NASCAR headquarters is in Daytona. Wouldn't you pick Florida, Florida State, Miami?
Well, you got
something
close
Talladega,
to home. You run twice a year at Dega, right?
But wouldn't you go where your home is?
Don't you want to go home?
Get back in your home.
This is just with the NILs starting up, and now this is really bizarre to me. This is really bizarre to me. And we know that the Alabama students don't need any help because the president just said, "Hey, everybody gets free college." Jackass.
Dip fuck.
Anyway. I'll leave that for maybe later.
Another day.
Maybe the weekend edition.
Perhaps. I want my money back.
I want my money back. And I don't want to pay for my neighbor's kids going to school through my taxes. That being said, let's move on to the final race.
Yes.
Of the NASCAR Cup regular season, as Dave and I repress our anger and frustration with our idiot senile president.
Daytona.
The Coke Zero Sugar 400 this Saturday night. Finally, we're back to Saturday night racing. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, with Dave on the edge of the cut line. Bill and Doug behind him. They need good points, or they need the 10th place number to drop
dramatically.
I like your picks. Your pick, along with Nick and Aaron.
Yep, we are all going with Ryan Blaney.
Yep, if I had one left, I'd take him too. I think it's a good pick. Now, he is 16th right now, only one in on points with 15 winners.
Yeah, so he needs to have a good showing.
He needs to make sure somebody else outside of
the current
15 winners does not win this race.
The best way to solidify it is to win it.
Yep. Now, Martin Truex is thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but Truex does not typically run well on the plates.
I know.
His chance was last week at Watkins Glen on the road course.
Agreed. Another guy who's great on super speedways, although he's had a really hit and miss year overall. Jen and Doug both taking Denny Hamlin.
Yep, I flirted with that one.
Bill is going with the earlier Daytona winner this year, the 500 winner, Austin Cindric.
Yep, not
who
bad.
We just talked about.
But it's a whole
car.
But it's summer in Daytona versus February. All bets can be off. It's the rare team that can hook up at both.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this pick. I don't know.
Daytona's more of a handling track, and the handling is completely different at the two times of year.
Yeah, I think I would have gone with, if I haven't looked to see who he had left, but I assume he's got a Byron or a Logano left. I might have gone with, if he didn't have a Blaney.
Yeah, but still, we'll see. And Cindric's still young enough. We don't know how he's going to be consistent in his performance on a speedway.
The thing is, if you take away his performance at Daytona, he has had a very mediocre year otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm going crazy, nutsy cuckoo. I'm locked in, even though I don't have a win. I got enough points. I will make the Frenzy Cup playoffs. So I'm going with the guy I can't stand, a man I despise, who normally I would be hoping would wreck. Not in a fireball. That's too cruel. That's too mean. Just knock him down a couple pegs in terms of the ego, the arrogance,
the
entitlement.
So you're rooting for an inflated ego and an inflated sense of entitlement.
I'm just looking at this like the racing gods.
You're looking for
the
points.
Racing gods would love to do this to Ryan Blaney and everybody else and screw them and put this guy in. NASCAR would love it because, now look at us. We're diverse again. We're politically correct again because Bubba Wallace won.
You think they'll try and manipulate it?
The racing gods have a cruel sense of humor. They do.
We'll see what happens.
And again, if he wrecks out, he wrecks out. It doesn't hurt me. But he's actually pretty good on super speedways.
He actually does run the speedways pretty well.
So he finished second, I believe, at Daytona this year.
Yeah.
So
he's gotten a win and a Dega.
Yep. So we'll see. I mean, there are other guys out there who run. Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Dillon. These are all guys that that run well at super speedways. Like you said, a guy like Martin Truex just doesn't.
No.
Just doesn't.
Nope. Neither does Kyle Busch.
Oh, he has had a miserable last 6 or 7 races. Miserable.
Yeah, and he's typically the cause of a big wreck.
Yeah. And of course, that's the thing. That's what makes this stressful is you just want your driver. Your driver could be running great.
And some aggressive moron makes a mistake and wipes out a quarter to half the field.
Yep. DNFs do not do you or Bill or Doug any good.
Nope.
You guys need 35 to 40 points.
Minimum.
Yep.
I would love to see a 60.
Oh, Jesus. That's rare. That's rare at a super speedway.
Rarefied air.
I mean, that's a dominant race. First stage, second stage, and a win. Wow. Yeah.
I would love it, but well, who knows? I would just take the points.
All right, moving on to golf.
Again, this just keeps getting better and better.
And once again, I am going to point out to all you people out there who go, Tiger Woods, we love Tiger. Tiger Woods is fucking your mind over, is what he's doing. We talked about this with Dubai. We talked about the fact that he took the quote-unquote blood money year before anybody on the Live Tour did. Now, here we go again. Last week, it was Tiger Woods leading the meeting with the big golfers on the PGA Tour, trying to rally them, trying to get them to stick around. Don't take the Saudi money. You stay with us. And then get a miraculous development. The PGA Tour now says the average purse for 20 events where they have locked in pretty much the top players. The top players will have to play.
They have to commit to 20 events.
Right. And the purses on average for most of those events will be $20 million. Let me ask you something first off, Dave, because I'm going to be mad about this.
I thought the $20 million purse was for 12. The 12 top-tier events are going to be a $20 million purse. The others will be higher, but not quite there.
Okay. Here's my thing, though. Wasn't this whole deal spearheaded by Phil Mickelson? Wasn't the quote from him, we need to change the PGA Tour and we're trying to force the changes by starting Live Golf and moving to Live Golf?
The golfers can make a little bit more.
So guess who you owe an apology to?
Mr. Mickelson. Because
Mr. Norman and Mr. Mickelson.
Because not only that, but they also have the Player Impact Program, which is going to provide a minimum salary of $500,000 a year per player on the exempt list. So if you're automatically in all the tournaments, you're going to get at least $500,000 a year. If you're non-exempt, you're going to be paid $5,000 if you miss the cut. Amazing where all this money is suddenly coming into play, isn't it?
Where is it coming from? This sounds like our government
question.
In action, doesn't it? All of a sudden, the PGA Tour is printing money because they're trying to keep
Where are these sponsors coming from all of a sudden? Which sponsors are kicking in this money?
And again, I'm saying, isn't it shocking how Phil Mickelson and Greg Norman
wanted more money for the players?
Said, we have to do this to show the PGA Tour that they need to change. And now guess what happens?
Boom.
I say Phil Mickelson wins.
Yep. Greg Norman
He
wins.
got all of you assholes all this money by pushing Live Golf.
Yep.
Now it gets better because now I can bring in my best buddy, front row seat on the Sports Frenzy Plane of Doom, fucking Tiger Woods. And I am so mad at you people for falling for this week in and week out. Now, not only all the speculation, all this stuff they're working to, this new proposal with the top players playing in 20 events. The purse is going up. Behind the scenes, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy are secretly trying to become partners with the PGA Tour, where they get more money,
isn't it?
Almost as shareholders in the PGA Tour for doing all this work. But it gets even better because now they're setting up TGL, virtual golf. They're going to build a facility where they're going to basically play the kind of golf you see in a sports bar, where they hit the ball against a screen in like a little tiny arena, and they play golf that way without having to do the actual work, walking 18 holes. Oh, gee, guess who that benefits? Guess who that benefits? The man who tried to kill himself by falling asleep behind the wheel of his SUV now can play virtual golf.
Oh, wait, what was it called? TGL? Is this the Tiger Golf League?
No, that's not what it stands for, but good call.
Bullshit. It's the Tiger Golf League because he doesn't have a leg to stand on to walk the course.
You people tell me how this does not benefit Tiger Woods. Now he doesn't have to walk, because all we heard the last couple majors this year, oh, look at poor Tiger Woods, he can't walk the course. Isn't it so sad? This once great warrior on the...
He did it to himself because he's a piece of refuse.
And now again, he finds multiple ways to make it all work for him. He gets more money. He makes it easier for himself physically.
Is he investing some of this Saudi money he took for years?
I'm telling you, people, he has gaslighted all of you. Not us, but you. All you guys who cheer him and applaud him. All the years he cursed in front of your children on TV at the tournaments. You just, oh, it's Tiger Woods, though. He's so great. Balls. Tiger Woods is a manipulative piece of garbage, and you people need to realize it, and realize it now. I can poke holes in any of these proposals that he's put forth to show you how it benefits him and him alone.
Exactly. He's in it for Tiger, not the PGA, not the fans, not the other golfers.
Before we get to our moments of silence, real quick.
Oh, wait. We got to wait and see what happens after the FedEx Cup. Cam Smith is supposed to be the next one to jump to live.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. And Ricky Fowler, of course, was involved in these meetings, so they're trying to pull him back. Yeah. Although he's never done anything.
Yeah.
He's the most
overrated,
underachieving golfer out there right now. Now, of course, getting political one last moment here before we move on. It is sports related, though. I would just like to commend Dennis Rodman for doing his part to go over to Russia to try to release Brittany Griner, because we know that will go well.
Yeah, what could go wrong with Dennis Rodman in Russia?
If Joe Biden's administration, that clusterfuck, says we don't want Dennis Rodman involved, you know he is not wanted anywhere near Putin on the behalf of the United States.
Yeah, no good can come from this, kids. You're going to wind up with Rodman locked away in prison along with Griner.
And then we really aren't giving up the merchant of death.
Oh, hell no.
Now, who's on top in that scenario? Who wears the wedding dress? Who wears the wedding dress?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I went there. All right, sticking with golf as we segue into our moments of silence. He was a major winner, but more importantly, he designed a lot of the world's greatest golf courses. I remember this guy as a golfer when I watched it with my dad back in the 70s and early 80s. Tom Weiskopf passed away.
Thoughts and prayers to the family and friends.
Big loss for golf.
Big time. Big loss in the NFL. Len Dawson Super Bowl IV winning quarterback for the Chiefs passes away at 87.
Also, inside the NFL,
Yes.
yes, made a very good living after football
Yep.
in the media. And then finally, I've never watched the movie. I know a lot of people love it, the TV show as well. The inspiration, the coach who inspired Friday Night Lights, Gary Gaines, passed away. So
Yep.
again, thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
Yep.
You know what that means?
Pivot.
Yep, Dave and I each have 3 dumbasses this week. No, we are not playing Dumbass of the Week. Hopefully, there'll be enough stupidity next week for us to do that. I will start off real quick as we are limited on time. Deshaun Watson, the NFL in this case is the dumbass. They went with that 11-game suspension on appeal. Why 11? Should have gone 10, should have gone 12, because 11 games lets Deshaun Watson come back. First game playing the Houston Texans.
Absolute garbage.
His old team.
Absolute garbage.
One more real quick, and I'll give it over to Dave for a couple. LA Dodgers reporter David Vassig decided he wanted to slide down the Milwaukee Brewers home run slide in their home park. Dumbass ends up breaking 6 ribs and his arm.
How the hell do you hurt yourself on a slide?
Watch the video. It's ridiculous.
Oh my
flailing
God.
Arms, flailing legs, the whole 9 yards.
Oh my God, what an idiot. All right. Segueing off the golf, Rory McIlroy, for his stupid ass comments to any PGA player, you need to play better if you want to be considered a top player in the PGA. Gee, Rory, that's brilliant coming from you, who's choked away how many tournaments over the years?
How many majors?
Majors is, yeah.
He hasn't won a major in a decade?
Yeah. Brilliant, Rory. How about you start playing better down the stretch, especially on the final day? And then I've got 2 college dumbasses. Tennessee linebacker William Mohan suspended indefinitely from the team for domestic assault arrest. Unbelievable. And then current Jackson State punter Jack Dawson, he transferred in from another school. Last year at the previous school, 3 assault charges against him, including 1 for sexual assault where he sodomized a teammate with a pool cue. Ridiculous. Picked up and dropped another teammate on a pool deck, causing severe bruising, and then punched another teammate in the face 7 times. This guy's got some serious freaking issues and needs to be dealt with accordingly. Unbelievable.
Yeah, where are all the people that have been screaming for, let's take care of our mental health? I think you've got somebody right here, your poster child.
No kidding.
For somebody in need of, at minimum, anger management.
Yeah.
And then finally, the phenom of the week, who I think is a disgusting dumbass. It's been all over the last couple days. Yankees Mets. Yankees fan takes a straw, pours out a hot dog, and proceeds to use said hot dog as a beer straw. Opinions are mixed. Some people think it's brilliant. Some people think it's stupid. I think he's a complete and total dumbass just looking for attention.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. Mouth breather.
Yeah. I don't even like hot dogs that much to begin with. I love my precious beer. I am not tainting my precious beer by sticking a hot dog in it and then sucking the beer through the eyeballs and the hooves that have been ground up to make said hot dog.
Eat your hot dog and use your beer to wash it down. It's all you need to do. That being
Dumbass.
said,
Dumbass.
thanks for hanging out with us this week. Be sure to check out the weekend edition.
Yes, as we mentioned, reviews of The Lost City, Jackals, 30 coming in hot, other stuff. A new show from one of Sports Frenzy's favorite TV producers and directors, Greg Garcia. We have found the next Raising Hope, the next My Name is Earl for you to check out, kids.
If you want to know what it is, tune in Saturday morning. It's going to be beautiful. August 27th.
Put it on your calendar. Set your alarm on your smartphone, your stupid ass watch. Sorry, Dave just got one. Dave just got one of those watches that tells him, you haven't walked enough today. You're a fat ass.
Actually, I disabled that because I'm active enough as it is.
I'll attest to that. The man is like building towers and parapets and monuments and structures while the rest of us sit around and look for cool new rock videos on YouTube. As always, we enjoyed it, kids. As Dave said, check out the weekend edition this coming Saturday morning. He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the Maestro Kevin Crane.
Finally got that right for once.
That's all good.
We will check you out next week. Later.